to the greatest of the greatest. A podcast that you never knew you needed. With interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice. Asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast Presents, just regular Full Buddy Cast. Now, this is the thing that it all started, over 5 years ago. June was the 5-year mark of this year, where it was people ask, "Hey, why Full Buddy Cast? What is that? What does that mean?" Hey, it's buddy. Okay, Full Buddy Cast, podcast cast. It's a play on words. It's where, rather than full body cast, full buddy cast. Hopefully you get this. Hopefully you get it at this point. But what that meant was I was going to bring my buddies on, and we're going to do a podcast together. And so I'll have random episodes from people from all walks of life, all past in my life. Okay, never mind. This guy gets more calls than I do, and so he was reaching into his pocket for a moment. I thought maybe he was getting a call, but he didn't. We're still good. But anyway, I got all people from all walks of life, from my childhood, from high school, from college. Everyone has that, right? And so you run into people. You run into people at like the gas station or the grocery store, and you catch up with them. And I thought, you know what? You catch up with these people for 10, 20 minutes. Yeah, you see them on Facebook, but it's a little different. You get to hear their voice. You get to hear their laugh. You get to interact and hear the stories. And so I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm start recording some of these things. So I've had zillions of guests, it feels like, over 300 and something episodes. And yes, we've spun into different types of like spin-offs. Like for instance, Monday got sponsored, or Monday mornings we have Cole Street Brewery presents and Full Big Gas presents Brew Ha Ha with Sean McDonald, the master brewer over there, brew master at Cole Street. And then Thursdays we have Joey Hollenbeck, Hollering with Hollenbeck. Fridays we have Garage Night with Craig and Corey Bentley. And then every so often we'll have other reoccurring, like semi-reoccurring shows. But this one is one of those special ones that you get every once in a while. Guy just walks in, don't even know the guy. He said, "Hey," just kidding. I know the guy. His name is Nicholas Lane. Do you want to go by Nick, Nicholas, Nitch? What do you want to go by?
We can go by Nick when it comes to the show.
Okay.
That's fine. All
right. Go by Nick. Now, Nick is a guy that I met probably about 3 years ago. Yeah. He's dating Jordan.
Yes.
Who's best friends with my wife, Jamie. And so we met. I met Nick. When did I meet you, Nick? Do you remember that?
I believe we came up for something that she had going on, and we either met at the casino at Muckleshoot, or we met for dinner one time or another, is my best guess. But I would say more than likely it was Muckleshoot, because I think at that time the poker room was actually still open, and I was telling you that poker room at Muckleshoot is actually like the best in the Northwest that I've seen.
Yeah, and I used to play, I think we talked about that. I used to play in the poker room as well, the 3-6s and all, and the 4-8s and all that. So I think we bonded on that. And then we went to we've done other things. Like
we watched this year's Super Bowl together.
Super Bowl. We went to the Mariners game. Had those grasshoppers, the crickets
grasshopper,
together.
Yeah, the crickets. Yeah, those were actually good. They're spicy as all get out, but actually
it tastes a little woody, like almost like you're eating like spicy, like
dry, like spicy dry wood.
Yeah,
is that what you would say?
Yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I would say.
I actually didn't mind him with a beer afterwards. It's kind of like, Jordan and I went to Iceland in 2019, and we had fermented shark, and that tastes just absolutely terrible, just as fermented shark. But you dip it in honey, dip almost anything in honey, it tastes good.
Tastes good.
Yeah, it's kind of like that with a beer.
Do they recommend that, or are you a honey guy?
I'm a honey guy.
So what's your favorite syrup? I'm talking maple syrup, not honey. What's your favorite syrup?
Like the brand?
Yeah. Like, what's your
Like Log Cabin, Aunt Jemima, kind of.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to store bought brand, but local brands, it's
yeah.
you go off recommendation, I guess. It's like almost.
So you're
most stuff.
a honey guy. Do you go to like the street fairs, the fairs that they have, county
Not
fairs?
to
you
that extreme.
Buy and there's someone's just got their jar of honey. Do you buy one of those?
No, not to that extreme. It's more of like if I get cornbread, I want butter and honey.
Oh, well, so
It's
you're
kinda like
so
that.
you're a normal person, is what you're saying.
Okay,
Fair
enough.
Well, my wife is a honey girl. What she does is she throws ketchup and honey together, and that's where she dips her fries. Is ketchup? and
I don't
honey.
go to that extreme.
Ooh,
No.
Okay.
That's a spicy way of doing it. I guess.
You coming in here, I thought you were this honey connoisseur. You're gonna just like tell me what you do. You've got fermented shark with honey, and then you slowly deflated this honey.
Yeah,
connoisseur.
I got your hopes up, and
Yeah, really big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge honey guy. Huge honey guy. I love it. Oh yeah, you like it in ketchup? No. Never mind. I'm not a honey guy anymore. Do you call Jordan honey? Are there any words you can't call her? Like I can't call Jamie honey. She thinks it's too cheesy.
I just call her babe all the time.
Babe. Oh wait, no. I can call her honey. I can't call her babe.
I don't really call her honey at all. Actually, it's very. That's a very, very rare occasion, but I would say it's just babe, and we do it just in general, or me being a troller. Either way.
Do you say it like a hey babe, go get me that, hey babe, kind of like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And
Or like if I'm making fun of her, like, babe, that's fine, whatever.
That's how you make fun of people?
To her.
So this happened last weekend. We were at the Cruise Enum Claw, me, my wife, my kids, and Cruise is where they bring in these nice classic cars. It's the first Friday of every month. So we go down to Cole Street, Rainier, have some food because my daughter works there, and then we'll go to Cole Street, grab some brews, and then we'll go stand on the sidewalk and watch everything go through. Okay. Well, just for one moment, it was like Jacqueline was gone. It's crowded. Jacqueline's gone. We can't find her. She's playing with these kids. They got this tent across, like over in this like gravel area. Jacqueline's gone, and like we're looking around. Finally, it was like minute and a half of like, where'd she go? And we found her. She was talking to this like, guy and girl that were like I don't know, in their 20s watching it. They had a kid too, and so they probably had a dog. I think they had anything. Jacqueline sees a kid or a dog, and she's like 5 years old and thinks it's her best friend, right? So anyway, they ask her. They say, "Hey, what's your mom's name?" It's mommy. Well, what's your dad's name? It's daddy. Well, what does your dad call your mom? Oh, sometimes he calls her Jamie. And okay, Jamie. And what does your dad call, or what does your mom call your dad? Sometimes she calls dad a honey. So my name's Honey. So I'm a honey guy.
Would you like to say that you could be called Big Honey?
Big Honey. Big Honey. Is that like Big Oil? Like where they just take over the world with their honey? Or is that like another nickname?
No, it could be like, it could be whatever you want it to be.
I like Big Honey. Yeah, I like that. Big Hun. Big Honey.
Yeah.
This nickname's going to maybe stick. We've got a listener, Desi B, Patreon, shout out to her. She, last name B-E-E. So, and she's always
Nice.
I think she's always trying to come up with some funny, silly nickname. So maybe she's going to do that with this. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. I'm about to sneeze. I'm talking. Hold on. I'm good again. Okay, so.
Bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So, we went to that Mariners game together. We had enjoyed that. I was the first one to break it to the world because I'm a Facebook troll. You've called me that. You're just a troll, Trav. But
yes, that is correct. You are a troll.
Thank you. And I think Cody Rackley said the same thing. I didn't understand what he was saying. I thought he was actually calling me a physical, like I look like a troll, and I thought that hurt my feelings. But I broke it to the Facebook world. I made it Facebook official. It popped up in my memories like last week or a couple days ago. Yeah, where I said in a relationship, Nicholas Lane and Jordan Buchholz, however you say her last name.
Buchholz.
Buchholz. and I tagged him in it, and then like I don't think it's your original profile anymore.
That's correct. I had to get a new profile because I just woke up one morning checking my Facebook and I got locked out of everything. Lost my entire profile that I've had since 06.
You've had a Facebook since you were 6?
06.
Oh.
2006.
I was gonna say, dude, you're not that
I'm not
old.
I'm not that old now.
Yeah. So that sucks. You were probably like Zuckerberg's like original friend. 06. Like you.
It's like that was like one of the first years that Facebook like kind of branched out of. I mean, like it was out of the college scene, right? But it still wasn't. MySpace was way bigger than Facebook at that time.
Yeah.
So I would say, not a lot of people had it during those years until it started getting popular around 07, 08, you would say.
So you were Mark Zuckerberg's friend, is what you're saying.
In a non-friendly
way,
yes.
All right, I gotta crack this beer. Gotta crack this Cole Street Brew. So good, so good,
delicious.
I think they're all sold out now of the cans. They do the crowlers, so I think they're sold out now. I think I got the last one. All right, so. Super Bowl. Oh, last year we accepted you into the fantasy football family.
Yes, I was able to get invited because of a different couple, I believe, from what I understand.
Yeah, bounced out.
Yeah,
bounced out. Love them, but they bounced out.
Jordan and I were able to be invited in.
And how did you acclimate to the league? Would you say that it was a warm welcome? Did you feel like there was already people talking trash like by week 2 or 3 that made you want to just kind of drive up from Vancouver and start punching people's faces in? Like where are we at here with that?
I would say when I started out 0-2 is when I would say that things started kind of flying around.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had my hands full with dealing with some of the people in the league.
And so, then you went 0-3, and then
yes,
and then you went 0-4, and then
I went 0-5. Then I won 3 in a row. After
but then
that.
You won 3 in a row. You bounced back. You changed your team name, spiced it up. I think you kind of spiced up the name just a little bit. Get like it's like taking the rally cap and like taking the baseball cap and turning it around. You put it on like a different way, and you started winning. You were buying up people off the waiver wire like crazy, taking some chances here and there,
yes,
and lucking out in a few of those, but also building for the next year. And everyone loves hearing about fantasy football and fantasy football teams. Craig Bentley is nodding his head right now, but and he's probably taking notes. Jared Skelly as well. Shout out to Jared, new Patreon as well. Thank you very much, Jared, for jumping on the old Full Buddy Cast bandwagon. That means that guarantees us doing fantasy football Sunday mornings, like a quick 15-minute episode. Who to start, who to bench, and who to see if you can grab off the waiver wire prior to that week. And anyway, with that said, what Jared does is he listens to it every week, and then he does the opposite, and he actually did very well. I think he may even won the championship. I don't know.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, do the opposite of what we say. But you started building. You were trading draft picks for this year. I was looking at the draft pick board. We already kind of figured out what the draft order is going to be and the rounds, and I substituted where you had come in. You've got like 8 picks in like the top like 6 rounds or something like that.
So what was interesting was when you explained some of the rules kind of on the fly and like how your point system worked before the draft. I was kind of having to makeshift how to figure out how to navigate your league because I've never played it. So when you said it was a PPR league, I go, okay, if I'm in this position, I'm going to take this guy. And that guy in the first round became Michael Thomas. And Michael Thomas the year before had the most receptions in NFL history.
That's not against you though.
And so I realized, hey, I got to get this guy. And then I usually like to go back to back in picks when it comes to position to be really solid in one position no matter what. And that guy became DeAndre Hopkins in the second round. So going with DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona for his first year, Kyler Murray's just going to throw to him all the time. I figure my PPR is set there. Now I'm going to go running back third, fourth round. And all of a sudden, Michael Thomas gets hurt. He goes AWOL. He does things with the team that doesn't work out. Him and Drew Brees are at each other's throats for some of the weeks. And all of a sudden, I only got one guy that's pretty good, and that's DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm losing. So I start out 0-3, and I decide to go, you know what? I need to blow up my team immediately. And this is very uncommon.
Fire sale.
And this is very uncommon in fantasy football leagues that people don't do this early in the season. So I found a bidder, and I found somebody to give me next year's second round pick for DeAndre Hopkins and a player that did okay, but he wasn't that great.
Right.
And then I was able to sell off another player to get a third round pick and Odell Beckham for the rest. And then Odell Beckham tears his ACL the next game.
Oh,
it was mind blowing. I traded M. Thielen.
Yeah.
And I got Odell in a third round pick for next year. So I was thinking, well, whatever I do, if I do okay in the losers bracket at the end of the season, then I have these extra picks for next year, and I can really go for it. And so that was kind of my thought process of why I traded Thielen and why I traded DeAndre Hopkins. And I was trying to trade Michael Thomas as much as possible at the deadline, but nobody bit.
Yeah, and again, Craig is taking notes, and Corey's nodding his head, and Jared's also loving fantasy football talk. But yes, so we're excited to see. I will give you guys updates on if this turned out well. This was a very strategic move. I feel like Nick. I feel like you play like Twilight Imperium. I feel like you play like these like board games that last like 6 to 8 hours, where you kind of like. Maybe you even have to like fantasy football. Like you had to do one full year of it to kind of see it, and now you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm focused now. I kind of know what I'm getting myself into coming into the second season.
So I have something that you don't know about me. My favorite board game of all time,
Castle Risk.
Risk. That's one of those things where it takes a long time, especially with more people, and you got to figure out how to take over the world.
Right.
You got to either have your defenses up or you go turn in and try to eliminate someone and go right away.
So you like the game Risk. It's a long game.
It's my dad's favorite game because he played it a lot in college.
Yeah.
And we learned how to play that as kids.
Yeah. Did he beat up on you guys for a little bit?
Oh, yeah. He's as aggressive as you can get.
Really?
Definitely.
Super competitive.
Yes.
Does he play fantasy football?
No.
Will we put him on the waiting list, or is he going to...
No, he's a Raiders fan, but he's a pretty casual NFL fan. It wouldn't be he wouldn't be very active.
Gotcha. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. And so we went golfing today, which was nice.
It was a fun course. I've never played Enum Claw before. I don't live in town, so I've never played it. Right. So I definitely enjoyed it, and you were a fantastic caddy. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, thanks. And you gave me some tips on some chipping and some like 40 to 60 yard range type shots, which is I'm going to look to implement that going forward. But you played high school golf. We were talking about that. Enjoyed it big time.
Yes, I played all 4 years.
Now, was it your dad, you said, or your grandpa? Who was the one that really like roped you into golf at a young age where you're like, this is fun. I think I can play this.
My dad. I was more self-taught. Fun fact. So I'm a lefty. So I throw left-handed and I write left-handed. But I golf right-handed because my dad couldn't teach me how to golf left-handed. So I've always golfed right-handed. I bat right-handed in softball as well too, because I've never known how to bat lefty in softball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was self-taught, and then I took my first lesson right before my freshman year of high school. And I took one lesson when I eventually went to a golf academy school, however you want to call it, when I was 19. And that's like the only times I've ever had lessons before.
You're a big softball guy, huh? Do you play now still?
Yeah, I still play. I play spring and summer, and I normally just pitch. I play some first base. I'm more of like a 7 in the lineup hitter. I hit a lot of ground balls, but I outrun them.
Oh wow!
I'm a Joey Cora type guy.
Yeah, you don't look it.
say.
You're like, how tall are you? 6'3"?
I am 6'4".
6'4". Yeah, I was gonna say you're a tall guy. You don't. Joey Cora, a little short guy.
Yeah, but
You look like Randy Johnson running down the line.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I've played baseball since coach pitch basically. When I was a young kid, I pitched when I was a young kid until about 16.
So I mean, that was our mini series right there of Softball's Hard Talk, because we got a summer series by Full Buddy Cast called Softball's Hard Talk, where we talk about where we talk hard. Not that we hardly talk about softball, but we talk about softball.
About softball.
Yeah, we talk hard about softball. So that's how. So softball. So you're playing where? Where are you playing at now?
I play at Portland Delta Park, and I play men's. We played second division in spring, and we're playing third division for summer. And I've played co-ed. My first couple years, I played softball.
Man, maybe I do you think you could talk for a full 25 minutes, 30 minutes about softball or no?
Sure. I mean, I can definitely feed off of a conversation.
All right. Well, let's
talk about most stuff.
So we'll hold off on it for right now. That was a good tease for your upcoming softball's hard talk conversation. I didn't know you played softball. That's pretty cool. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Played golf. Played any other sports growing up?
Played soccer till I was about 7th grade. I played a lot of goalie and defender, and I played baseball. I pitched till I was about 16. Had a bad experience with the coach and just quit playing. And I played golf since I was like 5 years old.
Did you play any varsity or JV basketball?
Nope. Played YMCA. I got sick the week of tryouts my senior year when I was able to dunk. I had a good 3-point shot at that time. I was in just fantastic shape. I just got sick the week of tryouts and never got to try out. So I played some Y ball. My dad coached us for a couple of years, and I was a Jason Terry. I put my socks up to my knees when I would play. I actually liked that at that time. I played basketball up until then, but I've played golf. I started playing with plastic clubs in my backyard in the Sacramento area.
Yeah,
when I was about 5 years old.
Okay. So basketball though has been a passion for you. It sounds like you like basketball. Did you like it in the 90s? Like, did you like watch the Sonics? Did you watch Trailblazers? Were you into like Golden State Warriors? I feel like did you come from California or?
I was born in Walnut Creek, California, which is about 30 miles east of Oakland. And we lived in Sacramento, lived in Bakersfield, lived in Vancouver, Washington, and then back to, another time back to Vancouver. In the 90s, I was a Seattle Supersonics fan.
Big Kemp fan, Peyton fan. Who'd you like?
Peyton. Peyton was my favorite guy.
So you were a goalie. I'm going to interrupt you. You were a goalie. You were a big defense guy for soccer. And when you played basketball, would you much rather like shut down a good player on if you're playing defense or score like double digits?
I would prefer more to block shots, get rebounds. I wasn't a good shooter when I was younger. I became better when I was 17 or so, but not when I was in the 90s when I was a kid. I would rather I was more of a taller kid for my age in most years, and I would prefer to be more of a defender at that time.
Hold on. Oh well, I won't. But he was wrong. Just telling. All right, so Jordan, I had to just let your girlfriend know that she could keep Christian McCaffrey, and she finally responded back to me, and she said, "Thumbs up," and then she said, "Please don't tease me right now, because Nick does that enough." So I think she thinks I'm just gonna I'm just toying with her right now. Yeah, which I never troll her. So you're a big Peyton fan. Sorry, I was trailing off in there while I was trying to respond to your girlfriend.
It's okay.
Okay, so where do we end off on that one?
I was a big Peyton fan. Obviously, I loved Kemp during his reign in Seattle. I was really good, or not really good. I really liked his Rayman shoes, so I did have a pair of them at the time.
Yeah, Kamikaze Kemps.
And I had they were like the lightning. They looked like lightning
Yeah.
bolts on it. I love those.
Yep.
And I would go to sports card stores and try to find Peytons and Kemps at the time, and I really enjoyed watching the Sonics during their time. Their jerseys are great. They eventually made the finals, which was a fantastic time to watch. That was like one of my first times watching my favorite team trying to win a championship at that time. But of course, Michael Jordan had a lot of say in that. But after Kemp left and Peyton was still playing, living in Vancouver, I would try to only go watch the Sonics play while they were in Portland. And I still have a Sean Kemp, or I still have a Gary Payton from the red jerseys that they had. They only had him for 1 year, and I still have a Payton jersey from that year.
That's great. So I just grabbed some basketball cards, went to the local card shop, spent about $10 on those. Tell me what you think of some of those.
This 94-95 Ultra Slam Power Kemp is definitely some of the stuff that I would have
got back in the day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Topps Gary Payton rookie. These USA basketball ones are not. They're nice to have, but they're not really worth anything.
They're not worth anything. Yeah, no.
The Skybox Gary Payton is pretty cool. Oh, you got a Ray Allen in there.
Ray Allen with jersey pieces.
An old jersey piece, Gary Payton.
Yeah,
here.
so I bought that at the card shop. It was like $10. But then look at the thing underneath it. So this is my childhood. That's where I bought these from like back in the day. Now, did you collect cards, basketball cards, baseball cards?
More basketball cards. I have some football, but not too much. It's more basketball is what I had.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are I think that's my Peyton collection. It might even turn into a Spreewell collection. I'm not sure. I think I had some other collection over there.
The next time you're in town, all my basketball cards are at my parents', and I'll have to grab them before you come into town.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Peytons.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I collected Kemps for a long time, and then I was like, you know what? Who else is my favorite? Well, I love Peyton. I'm going to get Peyton. I also like Latrell Sprewell. Toss it over. I haven't seen this one in a long. I just found this actually. Yeah. So you collected cards. Oh yeah, I remember trading for some of these. I actually just sold a Kobe rookie card. I had a Kobe. Did I show that to you when you came over one day? It had
I believe I have seen it.
It was like Kobe and who was also a rookie that's played for the Timberwolves.
Well, Kevin Garnett was the year before that.
Well, I thought it was a Garnett rookie.
No, he was. Yeah, he was the year before Kobe.
Maybe it was it doesn't matter to someone else. I don't know. Now I'm lost. Now I'm completely lost. But it was who else who else was in the Kobe draft?
You have Ray Allen, Steve Nash, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, who had a pretty good NBA career in his earlier years in Vancouver.
Who is the Trailblazer guy? Who's the Trailblazer guy? I don't know. Anyway, we're getting off topic. But anyway, you're big basketball guys, as I was trying to get to.
Yes.
Still a basketball guy.
Still a big basketball
And you're
guy.
actually featured every so often or every week, or what are we talking here?
Every week or every Wednesday that I can at least get on the show.
And that is a podcast where it's called?
It is called the Rat Pack Sports Show. I have been on since August of 2017 as their NBA insider.
So you're the NBA insider where you're able to, you scour the internet, you've got some sources, you do what you need to do to get the research done, and you bring them the heat every Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yes. It could be either the current stuff going on in the NBA, it could be just news headlines that are happening with players or what is going on in the league, or it could just be theories that I would come up with, and I would talk about angles. I would talk about upcoming draft prospects, trade scenarios, and how teams should either build themselves to tear down and tank, or to just make the playoffs, be successful, and then eventually keep maintaining to be successful.
And on top of that, you called some pretty big shots. Your claim to fame.
My claim to fame,
yes,
is that I got LaMelo Ball right. So, once the news broke that LeVar Ball, his dad, wanted to take him out of high school, so he didn't finish high school, so he would go either play professionally at Lithuania, which he did with Leangelo, which is the brother that's not in the league. And then he eventually grew taller and went to Australia to play for a year. I followed what some experts would say, and I also went with my gut instinct seeing highlights, because the year before Luka Doncic either was about to get drafted or was in his rookie year. And before the draft process, I watched a lot of tape on Luka Doncic, a lot of highlights on him, and I saw this amazing superstar. So I went on the show and started talking about Luka Doncic. So when I saw a lot of these highlights, I would start mentioning to the Rat Pack about how this kid is not going to be just a first-round pick. He's going to be a lottery pick. And then towards the end of the process, I said, I think he's the best player in the draft. Like, it came from, they were laughing at me when I said this kid's going to be a first-round pick in about 2 years because he was just, they pulled him out of high school, to I think the Timberwolves made a big mistake not selecting LaMelo Ball number one. That's how much on LaMelo Ball's hill that I am.
You're ready to die on it?
Very much so.
Okay, so
I think he is a generational talent superstar point guard. I really believe that.
What did the Timberwolves? I don't follow basketball as much, but who did the Timberwolves take instead?
They took Anthony Edwards, who was selected number one. He is a volume shooter, which means he'll take over 20 shots a game. He's not a good passer. He's a terrific athlete. He has an amazing vertical jump, and he is aggressive at wanting to get to the rim to use that to dunk over people. Like, Anthony Edwards has amazing athleticism, but I don't think he is a generational talent in the sense to where he can lead a franchise, where I believe LaMelo Ball 150% can do that.
Well, you got your dad, like the way your dad is, like, Lonzo. If you can take that pressure, then you could probably take the pressure of leading the team too.
I was a big Lonzo guy when he got drafted the same year Markelle Fultz did out of Washington, where Lonzo went number 2, and I kept saying on the show that you just don't get point guards that grow on trees to have the size Lonzo has, the speed in the open floor when he gets a rebound or when someone clears out, throws it to him to get. He has amazing passing ability to the point where he can be past half court and almost get you an alley-oop. I know Lonzo's difficulty is shooting. He has gotten better developing his shot. The difference between the two brothers is Lonzo, I would say, is going to be a starting point guard in the NBA for a decade or more. Maybe make one All-Star, maybe. LaMelo, I believe, can be the best player on a championship team.
Best player.
Yes. If LaMelo Ball is your best player, like, for example, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in Milwaukee, and I think he is good enough to be the best player on a championship roster. Where LaMelo Ball, down the road, obviously he just finished his rookie year, so I'm not saying right now he's a number one guy, but right. What I'm saying is I think once he's ready in his 24, 25-year-old season, I think that he can be the best player for a championship team.
Okay, well, all right. Now, since we're talking basketball, starting to wind down a little bit. What's your prediction right now? Right now, Suns are up 2-0. Are you thinking that they're going to go Suns in 4, or what do you think?
So originally, before the series started, I thought Suns in 6, especially with Giannis playing. But Milwaukee is showing so much ineptitude of getting the wrong person getting switched on Chris Paul, where he is just picking them apart in the mid-range game. He's getting guys like Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez that are getting switched onto Paul, and he's just having a field day with them. It's just a massacre to watch, honestly.
Is it impressive to see what Chris Paul's still able to do right now?
Very much so. And as an OKC Thunder fan, getting him in the Westbrook swap when it was known that Chris Paul had the worst contract in the NBA, and then now, 2 years later, he is the second best player on a championship roster right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely impressive. I usually will follow the NBA as soon as playoffs hit a little bit more. I don't really know before all that. I just kind of like watch a couple highlights here and there. But I used to be a huge NBA guy. Sonic's leaving. That was a thing that kind of crushed it. They traded Peyton prior to that. That kind of ruined it for me a little bit. It was cool that we got Durant. We got
It was
West.
at least the right time to trade Peyton when the trade happened. 'Cause
Right.
getting Ray Allen, I mean,
Yeah.
he still led you to a second round appearance with Rashard Lewis. That was a fantastic season for them.
Yeah, Rashard Lewis, that guy, I thought he was going to be absolutely incredible. He was good, but he was like, I thought he was not going to be Jordan, but I thought he was going to be like one of like the best ever.
You know, when it came to after he left Seattle and Orlando threw him as much money as humanly possible to get him at that time, he had that one good season when Orlando made the finals versus the Lakers. And that was about the rest of what he was. It's kind of like when Grant Hill left Detroit to go to Orlando, when, again, Orlando threw as much money as possible to him, and Grant Hill wasn't the same player until he rehabbed himself in Phoenix. When you got Rashard Lewis, you're looking at this guy who can get you 20 points a game, good three-point shooter, slim, 6'10", but was able to do quite a bit. He didn't really put the ball on the floor very well, but he was a good post player, had a good mid-range game, had a good three-point shot. Magic threw him just a truckload of money, backing up the Brinks truck, as I like to say it, and the rest was history. I mean, they tore it down. They drafted Durant, which was amazing for Seattle to get him for 1 year at least. Better than drafting Greg Oden. It's a win. You've got to think that's a win for franchise
For sure.
Even
Greg
though
Oden
they left the next year.
Yeah, Greg Oden was, I think he was 45. I think he lied on his college entry.
I completely agree. This is what I would say. In hindsight, it's always 2020, right? So at that time, the NBA was center dominant. They're always looking for the next Shaq, always looking for the next David Robinson, Akeem Olajuwon, right?
Yeah.
So you're always looking for that guy. Greg Oden had one leg shorter than the other. He couldn't. He ran very jumbled, like he wasn't fluid in his running motion, and outside of 10 feet, he didn't really have. Inside of 10 feet, and out, he didn't really have much of a game out from there. And when you see Durant, sure, he's 6'10", 190 pounds at best, but he could create his own shot and create his own shot for anybody on the floor. He had really, really good ball handling skills for his size, terrific shooter, not afraid to take the shot. And all you needed to do was to say, all you need to do is fill out your frame and get some defense, and you're a superstar. And how the Portland Trailblazers never saw that, because they said that they already had LaMarcus Aldridge, is just the same thing as we already have Clyde Drexler. Why do we need to draft Michael Jordan, right? It's to me, it's just mind-boggling the difference of what that could have made, because it could have made Seattle really bad if they draft Greg Oden number 2, and all of a sudden he is out of the league in 5 years time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than talking about fantasy football, moving into softball, and then going with basketball. For the people out there that are probably like, well, that's cool, this is interesting, but who's Nick? Let's get deep down into who Nick is. And because you're on that other Rat Pack Sports, when they bring you in as that NBA insider specialist, you probably don't get to talk about yourself as much. You gotta bring the heat with the basketball. You're not going to sit there and go, hey, yeah, so anyway, today I had breakfast. But hey, at breakfast, I was just thinking about how great this, and I was watching the highlights. And so you're a human that eats breakfast, but you're talking about basketball.
Yes.
But so let's just do some random rapid fire at Nick. Does that sound good, everyone out there? Yes, everyone says, yay. Yay. Okay. Now, the computer's acting up. So we're going to go rapid fire with Nick. So you ready for some rapid fire?
I guess as ready as I'm ever going to be.
All right. So what is your middle name?
Quinn.
And what's your mother's maiden name?
Evans. Evens.
And what's your social security number? No, stop.
Nope. Not going to do that one.
I can't believe you gave me the mother's maiden name. That's not,
You asked for it.
You have any password protected things with that? Do I need to cut that out of the pod now?
It's fine. It's no. There's not that I know of. No
Okay.
password protection.
Okay,
stuff.
all right. Let's go for real. Okay, childhood favorite cereal.
Golden Grams.
What's it now?
Golden Grams.
All right. Favorite type of soda.
I actually cut out soda in
Okay.
2013, but
Yeah.
if childhood,
Yes.
grape soda.
Grape soda, just a random whatever it was, whatever it
Yeah,
would be.
I mean, back then you get like a Safeway Select. Yeah, you could get one of those. Fanta, later on. I would say grape soda or orange soda.
All right. So, favorite summer activity:
Swimming,
lake or pool?
pool,
Diving board or no diving board?
diving board's fine.
Water wings or no water wings?
No water wings.
All right. Favorite video game when you were growing up? Rapid fire. You gotta just. What's the first thing that came to your head? Go.
Mario Kart 64.
There we go. That's a good one. Most hated video game. You bought it. You maybe saved it for yourself. You're like, yes, I'm gonna get it for my birthday, and you bought it, and it was the worst. You're like, why would I do this?
Just any kind of 90s sports games was definitely a downer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Favorite. If you could be any type of what's the word? Occupation, any occupation in the world right now, it was given to you, what would it be?
Right now, I would say I would like to be an NBA GM.
NBA GM. All right. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Firefighter.
Firefighter
Or a professional golfer. Either one, but firefighter was first.
Yeah, did both. Golf.
Why not?
That's 2 days on, 4 days off.
Kurt Warner was a grocery bag
store,
clerk, and he won a Super Bowl.
There you go.
There you are.
First job.
Camas Meadows Golf Course as a cart person, driving range and cart person.
And you would clean the carts and get them all ready and put them away, and also go out and pull the pins and do all that fun stuff.
No, I wasn't greenskeeper. I would go drive.
Or pull the flags. I meant pull the flags. Did you pull flags? You guys leave them out overnight.
The maintenance crew would do all that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have to
Gotcha,
do that.
gotcha,
But
okay.
when it came to driving the thing that everybody would want to target you to hit, I definitely did that. Clean the balls for the driving range, put it back in the machine. Clean the carts. That was my first job. I actually had to network pretty hard to get that first job, and then I ended up getting fired from it.
For how long did you work there?
6 months, maybe.
6 months. And they fired you for what?
It's kind of an interesting story. So
They all are.
a fellow cart barn worker
Yeah.
challenged me to throw a golf ball to hit a big, this big bark of a tree.
Yeah.
That was past the 10th tee box and had some distance to it. So you had to get a good throw in. And he challenged me, saying that I couldn't throw and hit it. So I did. Club professional comes down, sees me do it. I get fired a couple days later.
And they say, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just, I was basically just horsing around being a 17-year-old, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
And they fired you for it. That's harsh.
They fired me for it. And the worst part was there was a kid on the golf team, him and I were playing that day. So we make the turn. And somebody said I needed to go into Troy's office. And Troy
Troy.
and sat me down and told me that I was let go because of what happened that day. He said, you can finish the back nine if you want, and it's just freaking pouring down rain. So I go to the 10th tee box, and he goes, hey, why'd that take so long? Well, I just got fired from my job, but we can still play the back nine, though. So we were drenched. I didn't have a job as an 18-year-old at the time, or 17, give or take, and still had fun playing that back nine.
Nice. Well, that's okay. All right. That was rapid fire with Nick. We got to cut that short. We got to cut it short. And I'm sorry, but this computer sucks right now.
That's okay.
It's just cutting out. It's probably got half your answers. It's probably going to be all clippy. So with that said, are there any shout outs that you want to give at all? And you just give a shout out to whoever you want to give a shout out to. It's a shout out time.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend. She's having a tough weekend, and I wanted to say I love you, and I hope that I can be as supportive as possible with a tough time you're going through.
I hope she listened this long to hear that.
She probably won't.
And I have to shout out to Jordan as well. Jordan's amazing. She's fun. She's funny. I know that I try to stay on her good side because it's not good to be on her bad side. And I've done many things to get on her bad side. But I do appreciate her. She's fun. She's the godmother of my kid. She's the best friend of my wife. And she's great. Fantasy football wise, she's also fun. She likes to talk some trash as well. But she also doesn't take it too seriously. So anyway, shout out to her. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Patreon subscribers. We're adding one a month. It's like gaining momentum. Maybe I should be like speaking into existence 2 a month. But you go to the Patreon, Full Body Cast Patreon. I'm going to shout you out right now. All those people out there that support us. We've got Amanda Keating. We got Casey Scott, we got Cassie Spencer, we've got Desi B, we've got Holly Graff, we got Eric Edred Madrid, we've also got Kellen Hall as well. We've picked up Ira Potter a few months ago at a live event. Just got Shekinah Sarver and Jared Skelly. I've got, and this is where I start to lose it, Adam Kenny. Who am I missing? There's one more out there. And it is Anon. This is why I always forget Anon, because I don't know this person. But they listen to the podcast. I appreciate them very much. And we are at 13. We started the year with, I want to say, like maybe 6. So very cool that we've doubled already. So appreciate you guys so much for the support. Thank you, Nick, for being on.
Thank you very much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. I'm sorry that my laptop is a piece of crap right now, and it's probably the next thing that I have to do to upgrade.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we'll do it another time, huh?
We'll do it again. It'll be fine.
It's always fine.
But and then we'll also find out if your strategy worked for how you built your team up for fantasy
maybe
football.
a couple listeners might actually care if that kind of theory works. Like my brother gets on me quite a bit for thinking that way, because he's like one of those guys. It's like, I'm going to draft my team. I'm going to stick with them until maybe the deadline. I might make one deal. Like he's definitely that guy where I'm like the process, like the 76ers process, where if I'm not doing well, I am tearing it down.
Dude, you should change your team name
to the process.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it is very fitting of how I think see football, and I mean fantasy basketball is a whole nother beast on itself. I literally made the semifinals this year, and people were giving me crap that I'm not a good fantasy basketball player. It's an unreal situation when someone that barely sneaks in the last week loses in the first round. I am a lower seed in the first round, and I win. I get into the semifinals, and I actually get ridiculed
for being
split towards the 4-person split there.
But story of your life when it comes to fantasy seasons.
Yeah, you definitely take your ups and downs. You take your bumps. Like you're in the let's say you're in the finals. All you have to do is one guy can't get 5 points.
Right.
You watch the game. He's doing nothing for 3 quarters, and all of a sudden he gets a 40-yard catch, and you're just like, well, why did I just waste my life watching this? This sucks. And that's fantasy sports. That's the reason why we like to watch. That's why Red Zone is the greatest thing in existence.
So fun. I agree.
NFL Red Zone is much better than the Direct TV version, because that guy has like freaking weird Dumbo ears, and I can't handle it.
That's
but
funny.
The NFL Red Zone guy is much better, and he just got a contract extension, believe it or not.
Oh, that's what I like.
Yeah, the NFL Red Zone guy just got a new contract.
Yeah, I posted in our fantasy football league. Do you like that the league is a private page as well, so you can talk crap on it? No one can see it on Facebook? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Go to Cole Street Brewery. Go to Mazatlan. My daughter now works there. And go hit up Bordeaux Wine Bar. I still got to talk to them about their sponsorship and figure that out. I say that every episode. More merch coming out soon. People have been talking. I hate when people say, oh, all these people are messaging me. A couple people have asked about it. And I appreciate that. Thanks for reaching out. We'll get some merch out soon again. And enjoy the rest of your week, day, whatever it is you got going on. And go Hawks. Who are you?
Go Buccaneers.
Go Bucks. Yeah, that's right.
Since 97.
The Buccaneers, you've been a fan since 97.
1997 is when I became a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. Been one ever since.
So not a bandwagon. All right, we'll get into that next episode. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
To the greatest of the greatest. A podcast that you never knew you needed. With interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice. Asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full